Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're getting into something that I think a lot of you will find pretty useful. We're talking about how to sound more natural and confident when you speak English, especially in like
Hmm.
everyday situations. You know those little moments that can sometimes feel a bit awkward.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, you're still learning the language. So to help us unlock these secrets, we're diving into episode 4 of English Unlocked,
Okay.
Daily English Conversations.
Nice.
Have you had a chance to check this one out yet?
I have. Yeah, this is a good one. It's really practical. It focuses on scenarios like ordering food, asking directions, even shopping.
Oh, that's great. Those are the exact kind of situations where you really want to, feel
Yeah.
comfortable and like you could just,
Yeah,
express yourself easily.
totally.
And the source actually promises to teach us some common phrases that sound both polite and natural. They even go so far as to say they'll help us respond like native speakers.
Which, I mean, come
That's a
on.
big claim. That's got to be like every language learner's dream, right?
It is. It is. It's definitely what everyone's striving for. And, I think what's really valuable about this approach is that it
Yeah.
moves away from just, memorizing lists of vocabulary words.
Yeah,
It's about learning phrases within the context of actual
I
conversations.
see what you mean.
So you're not just like parroting back words, you're
Right.
actually understanding how they're used
Yeah.
in real life situations.
Like learning to dance by, actually dance right,
Exactly.
not just by reading the steps in a book.
You got it.
Right.
That's the perfect analogy.
And there's this one section on ordering food that I thought was super helpful. They talk about using the phrase, "can I get?"
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
And it seems so simple, but they explain how it could be used for
It's so
so
versatile.
many different things at a restaurant. Like you can use it for drinks, for food, for asking for the check.
Yeah, you're totally right. You can even use it to ask for substitutions or modifications to your order.
I know, it's amazing.
Like, can I get that without onions, or can I get a side of fries with that?
Exactly. And I'm curious from your perspective, like why does that phrase work so well in those situations?
Well, I think it works because it strikes a good balance. It's informal and friendly,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still polite.
Okay.
It kind of avoids being overly direct, which can sometimes come across as a little bit rude in English.
Especially maybe in a service interaction.
Exactly. You don't want to sound demanding. You want to be respectful of the server.
It's fascinating how, like, a single phrase can actually tell us so much about
Absolutely.
cultural nuances, like,
Yeah.
what's considered appropriate in different situations.
It's a window into the culture.
Totally.
And I think the episode highlights that really well.
Yeah, definitely. So another thing that caught my attention was when you were talking about asking for directions.
Oh, yeah.
They suggested using the phrase, "excuse me, could you point me towards?"
That's a good one.
And I noticed they used towards instead of to.
Yes, good catch.
Is there like a reason for that?
There is, using towards implies a general direction, which
Okay,
is often more helpful than like asking for a very specific location.
interesting.
Especially if you're not familiar with the area.
Mhm.
It also kind of invites the other person to provide more detailed instructions if needed.
So it's like you're opening the door for them to
Exactly.
give you more
It's a
information.
more collaborative way of asking.
It's all about those subtle details
Right.
that make you sound more like a native speaker.
Exactly. And that's something the source really emphasizes.
And one of the things they dove into was idiomatic expressions,
Oh, those are essential.
which I've always found so interesting
Yeah, they're tricky, but they're fun.
because they're like these little puzzles of language.
Yeah, they are. And, they add color and naturalness to your speech.
Right, they're not literal.
Exactly.
So could you break down like what exactly an idiomatic expression is?
Sure. So an idiomatic expression is basically a phrase where the meaning goes beyond just the literal meaning of the individual words.
Hmm.
Like, for example, instead of saying, I understand,
Right.
you might say, I get it.
Okay.
And it means the same thing, but
Right.
it sounds a lot more casual and native-like.
It's like those little brushstrokes that make a
Yes.
painting come alive.
Exactly. It's those little touches that make your English sound more authentic.
Absolutely. One of the examples that they gave that really stuck with me was using no problem
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
as a casual way to respond to thank you.
It's become so common.
It has,
And, it might not make literal sense if you think about it.
if you really break it down.
But it's just something that native English speakers say all the time.
Yeah, and it creates this feeling of ease.
Exactly. It makes the interaction feel more relaxed and friendly.
I think that's a great example of how this deep dive has really shown us that English Unlocked isn't just about giving you
Hmm.
a list of phrases. It's about helping you understand the cultural context.
Yeah.
and the nuances behind the language,
The why behind the what?
which seems crucial if you really want to sound natural and confident.
Absolutely, because language is so much more than just words.
Right, it's about how you use them
It's about understanding the culture and the context.
and how to use them appropriately in different situations.
Right, so you can communicate effectively and build relationships.
Exactly. And this source gives you those tools.
It does. It's like having a cheat sheet for navigating everyday conversations.
I love that.
So you can feel more prepared and confident in those situations.
So after doing this deep dive, what situation are you feeling like ready to tackle now?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Maybe it's finally time to order that complicated coffee order
Yeah.
without breaking a sweat, or strike up a conversation with that friendly shopkeeper.